podcast friends. Hello. Welcome to Usually Wrong, episode number 50. Thank you so much. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for listening. You're beautiful, you're handsome, you're wonderful. Thank you for listening to this show. It means a lot, the amount of love, the good energy I've gotten doing this. It's a blast to me, and I love that you're here, that you're listening. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. If you haven't, just subscribe to the show, rate it 5 stars. That would be amazing. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. I'm so happy. I love you. Thank you. Here's some dates. I'm putting together a show at the Youngstown Saxon Club's February 16th. The show starts at 8 o'clock. Doors at 6:30. You can grab tickets. There's a Facebook event for it. If you just search Youngstown Saxon Club Comedy Event, you'll find it. Or you can go to my website, natenulph.com. Check that out. I am doing a Alex Stapula's not-so-secret show at his house. No, not his house, a garage. February 20th. That's a Wednesday. That will be a fantastic show, which you should absolutely get to. And Joe Johnson's putting a show together February 23rd as well. More details about that to come. Come to those shows. It's great. It'll be a lot of fun. This episode is with someone who shares my last name. This is Josh Nulph. He is also my brother, which is great. I wanted to have him on. He ran a political campaign for the 2018 midterm elections for the PA House of Representatives in the 33rd District, which is the area that we grew up in. He wanted to run a campaign because there were a lot of issues in the area that we grew up. The opioid epidemic being one of the big ones, and he took it upon himself when he was 19 years old to start a campaign and run against the guy who's been there for 28 years. And this is my favorite episode for a lot of reasons, but you'll hear why. But Josh is the most caring, wonderful person I've ever met. He's so genuinely thoughtful of the people that he wanted to represent. He didn't make it, and we talk about it a lot on this episode, but I don't even want to spoil anything, but I want you to know he's the most wonderful person, and I'm very excited for you to listen to this. So please enjoy Usually Wrong, episode number 50 with Josh Nulph.
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that and forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You will be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living. That is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
What the hell was I thinking?
This week because he's home for break. I don't see him often.
Did you have many people that you knew from high school help out with the campaign?
No, actually, very few people that I graduated with. Like Jameson was like the main. Like Jameson was one of the main people from like that I graduated with, and then like everyone else were people that I knew that were freshmen when I was a senior.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, like Mackenzie and Madeline.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But you knew them from like youth group and stuff.
Correct. I knew when they were freshmen and I was a senior, I knew them very well because we did band, musical, youth group, the whole works.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time with them.
Yeah. What made you want to actually start a campaign? Like I've known you all my life and I can't really figure out how you got into politics. Like, I don't know where that came from.
So if you want the I don't know how long you want to spend on this topic. I don't know how this.
We have all the time in the world.
Okay. So my prom date senior year, I went to St. Joe's prom, and my prom date.
Jackie Marchie.
No, she came to Highlands prom with me. Jackie actually
Oh.
set me up with a girl.
That's so
Jackie
fun.
had a friend named Jamie. We're still super close friends now.
Wait, so you went to a prom with Joe Marchie's sister?
Yes.
That's so fun.
yeah, Joe Marchie's
Anybody-
sister is
if
my favorite.
Local people who listen to this podcast, people who listen to this out of town won't get it, but that's a very fun thing because Joe Marchie's a comic in town.
Yep.
He was the first episode of this podcast. That's so fun. So you went to prom with somebody.
Mm-hmm. So I went to 4 proms in my high school career.
That's fun.
Too many, but Jackie Marchie.
I went to one prom in college when I had a girlfriend who was still in high school.
Too many.
Okay, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting. So it is. I wrote a bit about it. It's like it's really weird being the like. I felt like one of the chaperones.
You know how like you go to all these proms and you see the people that are out of high school and you come back, or like you go to the prom and you see all these people who came back and you're like, man, that person's really weird.
Yeah.
They come back. You were that person.
Oh, I was that person because I probably had like a little bit of a trying hard beard. Like, you know, like well, he's really trying.
Well, that would have been weird because I went to my sophomore year prom. If you would have gone 2 years out of high school, we would have gone to the
Right.
same prom together.
Oh, that's so weird. I don't like that at all.
That would have been the
Yeah,
worst.
I don't like that at all. Okay, but so you went to prom with somebody.
I went to prom. I went to St. Jackie Marchie set me up with a girl named Jamie Kafalis.
Okay.
And I went to prom with her. We're super good friends, but her family is really involved in Butler politics.
Okay.
Like they're like
An area north of Pittsburgh.
yeah, and so they basically run Butler politics. And Jamie told me, she's like, hey, my sister has this friend. His name's Dustin. He's looking for some people to work the 2016 campaign cycle. It'd be an internship. Would you be interested in like setting up an interview? And I'm like, yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Right.
And so I went to Cranberry to meet this guy, Dustin. I had no idea who he was. And I worked, he like gave me a job working the 2016 cycle. So I just was a glorified door knocker, which is essentially what running for office is too, a glorified door knocker.
Right.
And so I knocked, thousands of doors. I was like roping my friends and I'm like, man, you can use this like for everything. It'll be great.
And they
like
can, right? Like it's something.
So you could the people that helped me during the 2016 cycle, they can. The people that helped my campaign, they can use that for whatever. They can put that on, like that is like
Right.
they can put that on their resume like for years. Like that is a huge thing. The people who helped me in 2016, they can, but they probably won't.
Okay.
But so I knocked doors there. We finished. I stopped my internship in August when I was going to college. This was like the summer between high school and college.
Okay.
Excuse me. And so we finished, 2016 ended, didn't think too much of it. And then 2017, I was just kind of researching some issues. Like we had, so in Harrison Township, or like the Trona Heights area,
Yeah.
we had like 7 people die of opioid overdoses in 2015.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot in a town of
Sure.
10,000
a small
people.
town that we came from.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I just kind of started looking into like what our rep was doing.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
Nothing.
nothing.
Right.
It was pretty clear. It took me about 10 minutes of research, like to realize he's really not doing that much for our
Yeah.
area.
Right.
And I'm like, and so I just started looking into some numbers. I was like, well, like how close is this guy? How long has he been here? I don't really know him. I don't know anything about him. And then I found out he'd been there for 3 decades nearly.
Right.
And the numbers were all so close in past elections.
Right.
Just there was the 2012, the race wasn't as close. With the guy he ran against, but like every year it was just so incredibly close. This guy was barely winning, and I was like, so I reached out to that Dustin guy who was my boss in 2016. And I'm like, hey, what do you think about this idea? Like, what if I gave it a shot? Like, what if we ran a campaign? I'm 19 at the time, by the way. You have to
Yeah.
be 21 by oath of office to
Right.
run. And so we started looking into legalities and stuff like that. and I will never forget this. So so Dustin like helped me. He put me in a lot of like in front of a lot of contacts, and he put me in charge with like the director of the party,
Okay.
or the House Republicans caucus.
Okay.
And I remember messaging this dude on Facebook, going back and forth. He's like, "Hey, can you come out to Harrisburg?" And I said, "Like, let me check with my parents to see."
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Let me check with my parents to see if there's anything going on. And I'm
that's
thinking
so
about running
funny.
for office.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but look at perspective-wise. I mean, you were 19 when you started.
Yeah. So it was like that. But like looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was the wrong thing to say.
Yeah. Why? What did he say to that?
I don't remember. I have to look back and see if I still have the messages. But like, it was just not right.
Yeah.
I should not have said that. And looking back, like during it, I didn't even realize it was a problem. I just said it, and I didn't even realize it.
Right.
But like now looking back on it, I'm like, oh man, like I really came off like a kid.
Yeah.
And then so Dustin helped. He put me in in position with a lot of these like high network people and stuff like that. And so I went out to Harrisburg. I met with them. We kind of saw if it was possible, and then I just kind of recruited my friends.
Yeah.
That was it. You were at the fundraiser that we had. Aaron Bernstein, he's a state rep out in the Beaver area, gave me a call and was like, hey, like if you actually want to do this, like reach out to people you know, see if you have any help, any like volunteer support. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Well, I called him back in a week. I'm like, hey, I have 20 people willing to help. What do I do with that? And he's like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
You have 20 people to help you
Yeah.
like with your campaign? And it literally, I reached out to people that I thought one could benefit from what we're doing. You know, so people still in high school, people in like early in college, and then I'm just so incredibly grateful for them because they knocked so many doors, so many phone calls, and then after that, it just kind of spiraled. I met up with Jim Christiana in June. I was still 19 at the time. I met up with him in June over coffee. He was running for the United States Senate at the time, and we just kind of met up. And I didn't realize that a year from then. A year and a couple months from then, he would be my biggest supporter. One of my he ended up getting me like $100,000 worth of money for the campaign.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everything from there, you know, it just started in the spring semester of my freshman year of college. I had Andrew R. design the logo, and just pick things up. I launched an exploratory campaign to try to raise money, build a bank account up a little bit, and then actually yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of me officially announcing that I was running for office.
I saw that on Facebook too.
Yep.
Who made that video for you?
Oh, I think you did.
I think I did too.
Yeah, I remember being miserable all night editing that video.
That was a bad night because we were gonna film it in my apartment at the time, and then the lighting was just like it just didn't work. Like we just put a bunch of lamps. Like I didn't have studio lighting or anything. We had the green screen, but like
no, we didn't.
Can you even imagine?
We didn't have the green screen.
We didn't?
No, we bought construction paper.
Oh my God!
We bought
neon green construction paper
and tried to tape it to the
work.
crappily lit
wall. That's right. That's exactly right. But you had to have known you wanted to get into politics earlier, or did you? Were you even interested in it in high school earlier than that?
I've always been well informed, but I was never like I never knew that I was going to end up running for office, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of it was really, really weird how everything played out. It was more of it was definitely a sign from God to like just jump in. Like, you know, a lot of prayer went involved, talking to the family. And then it was when so you were there. I don't know if you remember this. We were at Chili's with mom and dad.
No.
Yeah, first mistake was being at Chili's.
Don't remember this.
And I just say, hey, what do you guys think about me running for the state house? And dad just said to me, he said, why wouldn't you do it? And I'm like,
wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then my mission, though, from the very beginning, back in June of like 2017, was if we're going to do this, I want to build such a name recognition that we do not have a primary opponent.
Yeah.
And there were 3 people that I had heard of that were thinking about running for, like, jumping in during the primary,
right.
and none of them did.
Oh, wow.
So we ran unopposed in the primary.
I knew you had people that you weren't sure were going to run.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really interesting, though.
Yeah.
When you get past the primaries, what's the mindset? So we get past the primaries, you know who you're going to be running directly against. What's the mindset as soon as we get past the primaries?
Well, so let's take it, let's go. So for me, since I was unopposed, my mindset changed after the petition time. So if you don't get those 600, you need 300 minimum, we got 619.
Okay.
If you don't get those signatures, you're not on the ballot
Right.
in March. So March 6th was that deadline.
Okay.
And so because nobody else got those signatures, we knew we had won the primary.
Right.
So my mindset changed immediately. I stopped knocking on just Republican doors, and I started knocking on every door.
Right.
And just meeting everybody.
Right.
I started in March just knocking on everybody's door.
Right.
So
are you... What is... what am I trying to ask then? I guess I'm just really curious about each step along the way. What's the mindset? And here's why. Because as the months progressed, I saw you become more... stressed is the wrong word, but there was definitely an energy to you that was different than I've ever experienced before. Do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah. To touch on the stress part, the best way I can describe it, I told this story today actually over breakfast, but I ran I had to go somewhere. I do book it. I ran. Mom used to work for an eye doctor.
Yes.
And so I am putting this contact in. I'm putting one of my contacts in, and I'm like, Mom, it is it's making my eye more blurry. Look at the box. Do I have the wrong prescription or something? What's going on? And I keep taking it out and I put it back in. I take it out, it's blurry. I clean it off, and she goes, do you already have a contact in that eye? And I was putting two contacts in one eye.
Oh my God.
And I just didn't realize that I put it in that eye already.
Yeah.
Instead of just putting it in the other eye. And that was in October, the middle of October.
Yeah, this past October.
Yeah, when the campaign was just in full swing.
Funny.
Yep.
That's so funny.
I'm suit and tie, ready to go somewhere. I'm booking it.
But you don't seem like a generally stressed person.
Yeah, I was able to hide it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think I was able to hide it pretty well. There's obviously stress.
Yeah.
There's a big stress. But like you said, there's an energy you hadn't experienced. It was just because, there were just so many people that were so encouraged and excited that I was just giving it everything I had. There was I didn't want to wake up on the night or the morning after the election and be like, man, what if I would have knocked 2 more doors?
Yeah.
Would I have won?
Yeah.
Luckily, we lost by enough that I'll never have that fear.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the number. So with the number we lost by, there's nothing more we could have done.
Right.
But if we would have lost by 1 vote,
Yeah.
boy, I'd be kicking myself.
Yeah.
I
understand. It's yeah, I get it. I mean, so we get to election day, and I was heavily involved in it throughout that day, at least. I felt a lot of energy from you and from the rest of the people working. What's your mindset throughout that entire day?
We got it.
Yeah.
There was not
I felt that too.
Yeah. Which is why there's still always this lingering thought in me of did we actually have it? Because one of our girls, you know how you were counting the votes at the end?
Yeah.
One of our girls caught one of the ladies cheating for Frank.
Really?
Yeah, she called her out on it. They were counting the absentees, and the lady was she just skipped my name. Did they do tally marks at your poll?
Yeah.
She just wasn't putting tallies down for me.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Michaela, you know Michaela. The blonde Heinley.
I was there.
Yeah.
No. I was in the same room as her.
Were
Yeah,
you?
She did. I remember her saying to me, I thought this was another instance because, yeah, she caught her, she was missing tallies. Now, I think those were corrected, and she said those were corrected.
After she called her out on it.
After she called her out on it, but that's why, so I didn't know that's how it worked. So you have checkers come in and make sure that they're tallying votes appropriately.
And if we would have had a little bit more time for training, so the only real way that you can cheat an election without actually hacking the system, which is basically impossible, but say you have all those absentee people, well, say they come in to vote. So if you submit an absentee, you can still come in to vote. You just have to tell them to cancel out your absentee ballot.
Okay.
And the way to do that is if you actually want to cheat, if the people in there want to cheat, they can just not cross-reference those votes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
So you can walk in and just be like, here, like you can walk in, like someone can walk in, vote on the machine, also submit an absentee, and they just count them both.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we get past the actual day. We know we've accepted defeat with this. What has been your general mindset since over the last month? Like what have you been thinking about the last month?
Yeah. So the way I've described it to people was standing on that rickety bench that I stood on to give my concession speech. It was the highest high and the lowest low I've ever felt in my life, but both at the same time.
Interesting.
It was, the lowest low to the sense of, man, I put everything I had for a year and a half into something to not get it.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, so much time and energy. People gave so much time and energy and money to see me win, and we lost. So it was the lowest low. But it was also the most humbling, which is where the highest high is. It was weird to see people crying over my name.
Yeah, with hoodies with your name
with my
on them.
name. Like I'm looking out at a sea of people with my name on their hoodies. They're crying.
Yeah.
Their lives wouldn't have changed at all had I won.
Yeah.
Other than they maybe they'll be able to get, a letter of recommendation from a state representative.
But and also the district would have changed.
And the district would have changed, correct. You would have seen visible improvements.
Yeah.
But it was weird. It was incredibly humbling to see. And what was so I talked to Jim Christiana, who ended up losing his U.S. Senate race in the primary. I talked to him, and I told him about this, and he said, isn't it weird how politics is so incredibly divisive for people, but it's the most humbling thing in the world for a candidate? For me, I felt it was weird because I didn't feel as, everyone else felt the divisiveness. People were being rude to our poll workers. I mean, I had a guy cuss me out. Dad had a guy cuss him out. The same guy cussed both of us out.
Right.
And there's this divisiveness, but as a candidate, it's the most humbling thing in the entire world.
Yeah, and it's also weird for you to go through something like that at such a young age too. Over the last month, have you thought about how this particular moment in your life is going to play out for the rest of your life? I'm not talking job wise. I'm talking just from an emotional, a spiritual level. Do you think about that?
Yeah, so I long and I look forward to the day where I don't wake up and think about it. I long for that day. There's not a single day that hasn't gone by. I would say probably 50% of my day is spent still thinking about the election.
Well, we're so close from that day. Yeah.
Correct. I am longing for the day where it is something that will always be a part of me, but it is in my past.
Yeah.
Right now, it is still in my present.
Yeah.
I still go out in public and somebody stops me you're Josh Nulph.
Yeah.
I was at a Christmas party the other day, and it was incredibly humbling. Some young guy, a little bit older than me, he walked up to me and he's like, Josh, you're Josh Nulph, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I am. He's like, look, your race was just so inspiring to me. To watch your race, dude, I was just cheering you on. I was just so hoping you were going to win. Huh. It was just inspiring to me. And I get, I go to community market and somebody stops me.
Yeah.
That's that will end eventually.
Yeah.
But right now it's just so fresh. And so I long for the day where it's something that will always be a part of me. I will always be proud of it, but I don't wake up thinking about it.
Yeah. Do you ever hope that this inspires younger people to get into politics?
100%.
Yeah.
100. I don't. The message was the same the entire campaign. I don't care what party you are, Republican, Democrat, but you have to be involved.
Yeah.
Don't go vote blindly. The most humbling thing of the whole race was watching them count the absentee ballots, and it was crazy to see how many people voted for Tom Wolf, John Fetterman, Bob Casey, Connor Lamb, but yet voted for me.
Yeah.
That was incredibly humbling.
Yeah.
You know, that was it was just a very neat thing to watch happen.
Yeah. I mean, this particular election was so. We're just in a weird, almost meta state in political climate in America right now, maybe even the world, where people are outraged, people want to vote, and they showed up this midterm election. Maybe you weren't on the right side of the ticket for that. Plus in my opinion, I don't know if it's yours, but the governor candidate was not good. Yeah, I guess that's what I look at it as. But I see, like, I look at failures in my life. Like, I look at things that I just have not done right in life. And then I look at this situation with you, and I don't see it as a failure at all. You might see it a different way. And your opinion's really the only one that counts. But I look at it and say, I'm almost, and you're going to disagree with this, but I'm almost envious of the position that you are in right now, where it's like you've gone through something, you built something so well, and to have it almost ripped away from you at a young age, like that has to, and I'm not that much older than you, but like it has to teach you something. Maybe you don't understand it now, and maybe I don't either, but it's like, I think this event that happened to you is going to make you a great father. I think it's going to make you a great husband someday. I think it's going to make you an excellent candidate the next time you run, if you do, or whatever job you end up taking. Like, that's what I look at this experience for you as.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's something that, you know, and it's the conversation that I have between me and God of, you know, why do we get all these blessings? Why do we get every single dime that we needed? Why do we knock, you know, so many doors? I would be willing to place a bet that my campaign team, I mean, I knocked nearly $17,000 personally. I would be willing to guess that my campaign team knocked more doors than anybody in the state.
Oh,
you know, any state race.
Well, every single one of you were working extremely hard.
That's it. And but I think in terms of, you know, what it like, you know, I will never tell my kids not to try something. You know, if they want to try something, you know, obviously, like, you know, within reason, obviously, but like, you know, something like this in regards to this, because I went to bed, so I slept like 3 hours and 72 hours the night before the election. In 3 days, I slept for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And just so much work to do.
Yeah.
But like, I went to bed for those 3 hours, and I was really satisfied with the fact that we were all wondering, okay, are we going to win?
Yeah.
Rather than all of us wondering, man, I wonder if Josh would have ran. I wonder if he would have won if he would have ran.
Yeah.
But instead, we were all wondering, man, I wonder if he's going to win.
Oh, that's so fun, though. Like, I think about that all the time here. Like, if I don't do the things that I want to do, there's going to be some type of regret. It's going to be like, I don't like what ifs. I don't like not doing, like, I don't like being left out of things and left out of things in my own headspace. Like, I have regret with things already that I didn't do. And some things it's already too late. It's like, there will always be part of me that thinks, what if I didn't do those things? And you doing this was just a remedy for that.
Yeah, that's it. And I hope it just inspires people to someday, you know, when they're in the position of, okay, should I do this? Do it. Go.
Yeah.
Give it a try, because you're going to be kicking yourself. Because at the end of the day, to my knowledge, I don't know this, you know, someone can fact check this for me. Somebody listening can fact check this. But what I've always been told through the entire campaign is that I am the youngest Republican nominee in recent history.
Yeah.
I don't know, like for the state house, for the Pennsylvania
Right.
state house. Pennsylvania is the oldest legislature in the country, the oldest state legislature. So that could be different,
Yeah.
but like I could be wrong. But from what people have told me, like within the last 50, 60 years, there's not been anybody who is just barely pushing the deadline.
Yeah, and that's inspiring because you think of politics as like an old man's game, and look at the amount of women that are stepping up. Look at the amount of young people that are stepping up. It's there's something about it that now seems very accessible, and it seems almost necessary that young people are in politics because the country's changing, and it just feels like we're on the verge of more and more young people getting into politics.
Yeah, and we have to be though. We have to be.
Yeah.
It's our generation will be the old men and women who run for office eventually. So why wait until we're old men and women to do
Right.
that?
Maybe it's experience, but I just think there's so much talent to come from millennials right now.
So one thing that I've seen firsthand, and everyone brings up that experience thing, I think that our young people are more disciplined. This is no disrespect to anybody who, I'm friends with that's serving in office, obviously, right now. I am naturally more friends with the younger people in office from what I've become friends with, just through my time. But it's very easy to get bought out by lobbyists. And
right.
you go to Harrisburg or D.C., and you're immediately dragged in. But I think there's a discipline that comes with us and a sticking to your guns type of, mentality to your morals that we have as young people to keep us from doing that.
Do you think it's also young people have seen people get bought out by lobbyists and
For sure.
bought out by just special interest groups that want to control everything that they say? I mean, look at all of these politicians with the NRA. Like, that's part of it, in my opinion. I'm not saying they have to be your opinions, but I'm saying, in my opinion, there are a lot of politicians that get bought up by the NRA on both sides that it ends up being you're stuck to these groups of people like that it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that, and also, I mean, look at the party. You get roped in by even your party leaders that just force you to do things. It was really encouraging to see Connor Lamb. He made a campaign promise that he wouldn't vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. He held true to that promise. He did not vote for her to be the Speaker of the House. And so, that was a good thing. He he didn't get roped into his party.
Right.
He didn't get bogged down. The new group I work for, CAP, one of the things we say all the time is if you think a Republican or a Democrat is going to solve all our problems, you're wrong.
Yeah,
it's
I
going to
agree
take
with
good
that completely.
It's going to take good people who care about what they believe in, who care about being smart with our money and making good decisions, and not raising our taxes to the point of no end. That's what's going to fix our problems, but it's not one party sided.
I agree with that. I'm a registered independent. I registered Republican to vote for you, but I'm switching back to independent. I think the divisiveness that we have now comes from a whole host of things. But I know when I was growing up, I would believe in one thing, therefore I am that entire party based off of that one thing that I believe in. And I think that's way more destructive. I think part of us have lost the ability to think for ourselves with different political ideas. I
agree completely. It's what do you care about fundamentally? I ran my whole campaign pretty much on fiscal conservancy. It's what I care about.
Yeah.
That is what I care about the most, and I think voters care about the most, to a certain extent. You know this. I mean, we talked about this. We've talked about it before. But back in 1970, Pennsylvania's spending was at $4 billion.
Yeah.
That was their budget. And now it's a $60 billion budget. That's more than double the rate of inflation and population growth combined.
That's crazy.
How did that happen? Well, it happened with lobbyists and special interest groups buying out our politicians, forcing them to spend more money and borrow more money
Right.
until it was out of control, and now we see no end to it.
Right.
But we were back in 1970, a short 50 years ago. I mean, it's crazy to think that's been, half a century ago, but it's that type of spending is out of control.
Yeah.
That is out more than double population growth and inflation combined.
Where do you get that from? Is that true?
That is true.
Huh.
Yeah. Yep. That's just comparing. That is comparing the budget spending, how inflation has grown, and how the population has grown, just comparing the numbers.
Yeah. What was the best moment of the campaign for you? Like, if you were to point to the highlight of all of that, what do you think that'd be? I hate interview questions, but I'm really curious. Like, can you really think of this is a surreal, not even surreal, just like a really great moment?
Man, the whole, I like, it's even so the ups and the downs were all just great moments.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really basic answer. But
It was a really basic question. When did you have fun during the campaign?
It's like after somebody wins the Super Bowl and they're like, "How did you feel when you were throwing that pass?" I felt good when he got it.
I felt tired.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my mom.
What do you that? So, the whole thing was just great. Every bit of it. There's not a thing. There's things that I did that I would do differently, but I don't regret any of the decisions that we made.
Yeah.
The coolest thing was probably debating. I loved the debate.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Are you a good are you a good arguer?
For the most part, yeah, I would like to think. I'm good at logical reasoning. That's the right phrase.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think you are.
And articulating that, and it was nice to be able to articulate that with my opponent.
Yeah.
Which was a cool thing.
Yeah.
I'd never met him before.
Well, how many people in this world are going to get to be a part of a debate for a job?
Yeah.
You were literally, I remember that debate. I mean, it was like two people are debating in front of an audience pretty much as a job interview.
Yeah.
Which is a bizarre thing. Like, if you think about it from a presidential standpoint, I mean, millions of people across the entire planet are watching two people fight for a job.
Yeah, have you ever watched the documentary on Netflix, Mitt?
I've seen it when you've been watching it. Like, if I stop around the apartment, yeah.
It's a good documentary. I watch it often because it's just a good reminder to see different inside political campaigns.
Right.
And I think Mitt, there's just some good moments in there. And it was during the Republican primary in 2008. 2008, when Mitt ran in the Republican primary, lost to John McCain. And it was the first debate, and he's sitting in a chair, and he's going over with the producers, how the debate's going to work. And he's like, this is the producer of the whatever channel it was is like, look, this is gonna be like a family dinner room conversation. Mitt Romney goes, no, this is a scrum. He goes, no, you're gonna propose questions to your opponents, and they're gonna ask you questions. So if I ask a question like this, and I forget what it was, or what's your stance on illegal immigration? What's it gonna be? And he goes, no, you're not gonna ask questions like that. It's gonna be more like a family dinner room conversation. And Mitt goes, no, this is a scrum. Like, no,
it's a scrum.
Yeah, and
what's a scrum?
So just an all-out battle, an all-out royale, free-range conversation between opponents. And he tries to explain to the producer. He goes, "Look, you have 8 guys sitting around a table competing for the same job. This is not going to be a family room conversation. It's going to be a scrum."
Mitt's advisor thought it was just going to be a family conversation.
No, that was the producer of the network putting on the debate, explaining to Mitt how it was going to work. And Mitt's trying to explain that, no,
it's just not going to happen.
No, right. We're all competing for the same job. He said that to him.
Yeah. That's bizarre. It's just a bizarre thing to me.
It's a weird thing that we do.
When did debates even start? Has that been every election?
I wish I knew. I don't know when they actually started.
It was definitely during radio's time, but earlier than that. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know if
because who would have tuned in?
Yeah,
nobody.
Did Abe Lincoln debate somebody?
Did you get it? Did you ever go on YouTube and watch some of the first audio, like recorded audio.
Oh,
Isn't that stuff fascinating?
right?
I love that old stuff. There was like an old, what was it? I don't even remember what it was. It was like from the 1800s something, a president saying hi.
Yeah.
Like it's the only audio they ever have. I was watching a YouTube video, and it was a game show called To Tell the Truth, and like this guy had a secret, and this guy was like, it was a show in the 50s, and the guy was super old, like he was in his 90s, and his secret was he's the last known witness of the Lincoln assassination. Like he was in the theater.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's a cool video. It's like he's so old, and he's like, I could remember everything.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's fascinating.
That is fascinating. That's crazy.
I like that old kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I know.
Man. How crazy. Like, that's like if you're in the audience, you're like, that's not what I thought you were going to say. They all have this like secret. They're like, oh man, I can actually skydive or something like that. Like from a 90-year-old man.
Yeah.
Instead, no, he was there when Lincoln got shot.
I watch mindless crap like that all the time, though.
It's those that series of like YouTube videos. You click one YouTube video
Yeah,
and
you're
then the
in a
next
playlist.
one comes up and the next one.
Today, earlier this morning, I was watching a Deal or No Deal from the UK.
Oh gosh.
And they opened one of the cases and it didn't have anything in it. Like the producers made a mistake, because all Deal or No Deal is like one person, like an auditor, knows the values of each case, and one person is in charge of putting all of that in all the cases. And there was just nothing in this case.
What did they do?
The whole episode's like them freaking out, like we have no idea what to do. So they came out and offered a guy like another deal. They were like, do you want to keep playing the game, or do you want to... Yeah, that's what they did. They said, do you want to keep playing the game? What we can do is we can just reshuffle all the cases, put this value in, and keep playing the game. Or do you want to restart the entire game? And he was just like, let's just keep playing the game. He's like, I'm so glad you said that, because you chose the $1 million case. Like that was the one value that was missing. So we're going to put that back in and shuffle all of them again. So if he just started over again, it would have been worse off for him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I like that kind of stuff.
That's insane. I mean, literally, that is the definition of you had one job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you
You had a
had
big job.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, what did the model do?
In the UK, it's just a bunch of random people.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
any models, and it's actually just boxes.
Oh.
UK's low budget.
Okay. That's fair.
I love watching UK versions of TV. Have you ever watched... I've been writing a bit about it. Have you ever watched the British version of Shark Tank?
No.
They're so kind. They're so nice.
Are they?
Yeah.
Aw.
In America, it's like, I'll give you $4 for 100% of your company. They're all mean and yelling. And like in Britain, they're just like having debates, or like they're like getting into technical figures, and
That's
it's like, I love your idea. I think it's wonderful. I think it's brilliant. I think you have a good head on your shoulders. And I'll virtually pay you for nothing. I just want to see how it's going.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what was really disappointing the other day? I read an
What?
article. Do you know the prophet, like Marcus Lemonis?
I know that guy, yeah.
Yeah. He invested in a company. So he does this all the time, apparently. I read an article, though, where he kind of like screws people out of their businesses.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, like the Greek place, Simply Greek in
Yeah.
Market Square.
Was that a profit?
That was a profit
Oh,
show.
really?
Yeah, it used to be called My Big Fat Greek Gyro.
Oh, that's fun, yeah.
Yeah, and they had like 3 locations, and Marcus came in like, he's like, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make your offer, blah blah blah. You're gonna give me this much equity for your company, and we like, here's what we'll do. And he goes, but then once he writes the check, like you see that like on the show they write the check, and whenever they write the check to him, like, and they give it to the person, they cut the cameras. They take NBC or CNBC takes the check back and like, you'll get this eventually. But then Marcus, for like the companies that like he changes the name of, so he changed the name to the Simply Greek. and he went through all this overhaul. He changed all the locations, put all this money in, and then they're like, okay, like, what do we do now? And Marcus is like, well, I own the company now.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, like, I put all this money in. I own the company now. He goes, no, like, that's not what we agreed upon. And he's like, do you own the Simple Greek? You own my big fat Greek gyro. I own the Simple Greek.
How do these people not have lawyers or something? I mean, they
all
can't afford them.
They can't afford them. Marcus buys them out. And then but here's what he does. He goes, okay, you can have it back. Just match me. I put in $6 million. You match me. Go ahead.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Oh, that's so
And then there's no
shitty.
court case.
And he still has a show.
Yep.
Oh, what a piece of garbage.
Nobody knows that.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I read. There's like one family member that still
What a
works at.
scumbag.
Yeah, I was really saddened by that.
Yeah, I would be too.
And it doesn't happen all the time, but with some of the companies it does.
Oh,
Look it up. It's crazy.
I will look it up.
Like it literally it frustrated me.
Yeah.
Like he is screwed. Like there was a one.
And you've liked that show for a long
Oh, I
time.
love that show. And there was one called Inca Shoes, and he did the same thing. And now it's like Inca Shoes, a part of Marcus or Lamona's fashion company. And only one of the brothers who started it still works there.
Wow.
There's like screwed him out of it.
What else is new? How are you in general?
Oh, I'm good.
You good?
I got a new job, which is
I know
nice.
you do.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
You allowed to tell people?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to talk more about it in depth whenever I sign the contract.
Okay.
So you can have me back on a second time, like 2 years from
You
now.
can cut whatever you'd like out. I don't care. If you'd like to not have that in.
Yeah, we'll cut that out.
Okay. Let's start fresh again.
Okay.
Let's just get a whole new thing.
Let's take it from the top.
Okay, well this is it. This is good. This we're at little under an hour.
Are we really? We talk for an hour?
Yeah, we're about 55 minutes.
That's insane.
Yeah, we'll cut some stuff out. Okay, so this is the last question. Have you listened to any episode all the way through? Do you know what this question is?
Oh shoot! I was meant.
Oh,
I
it's so
meant to think of
fun.
an answer to this,
That's
and I
so
didn't.
fun. Okay,
Oh,
so Josh, you're at a bar. Night's going bad. Quicksand in the back has swallowed up 8 Asian people. But it is also karaoke night, and it's your job to save the entire night. What song are you singing?
I think I'm gonna have to pick a Time After Time.
Oh, don't you do that to me.
What? What is wrong with that answer?
How do you know that answer? You know why
No.
that's a bad answer.
Why?
That was my answer.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
There's no freaking way that that was your answer.
It 100% is.
There's
I have
zero chance that that was your answer.
Why?
I don't.
You're joking around.
I'm not. I'm dead serious. Because I was going to ask you. I was listening to the podcast with Eric Nesby this week, and you never said your song. And I was going to ask you, what did you say to that question?
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. You in the Eric Nesby one, you don't say what your answer is.
But I don't say it for every episode.
Yeah, and I've only listened to a few select episodes of like comics I know.
Yeah. Hold on here.
Oh man, that's insane. We must be brothers.
Oh fuck.
Don't worry, I have a second answer too.
I'm trying to find. And last week tonight started playing.
I got my answer. I got a second answer. I did not know that was your answer.
That was my answer.
I did not know.
That's unbelievable.
I will 100% like. I swear to you. But let's do this again because I got a better answer. That is not your
I'm
answer.
definitely going to keep this in. I'm 100% keeping this in because that's crazy. That's unbelievable.
I
that is
did
your
not know.
answer.
And because you want to hear my reasoning?
Yes.
Because everybody knows that song. Everyone can sing along. It's the Parks and Recreation's answer. And in April, we're singing that song on Parks and Recreations. And Anna's singing, and she's like, April starts singing along too. She goes, you know this song? And April goes, everybody knows this song. It's amazing.
Oh my God. I don't even remember that. That's crazy. That's wild. What's your other answer?
My other answer is Meant to Be by Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, okay.
You
I
know,
don't
because
know
everything going on.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
just
that.
meant to be.
That's
If
hilarious.
it's meant to be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be.
Okay. Well, that's pretty morbid for what's happening in this bar.
But it has a country twang to it, so it makes everything
Yeah, it makes
better.
everything fine.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Um.
You can plug Cap's website.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll plug Cap's website. Go
Or
ahead.
do we want to edit anything out that you have talked about Cap?
I would say.
Because this episode's going to come out mid-December or like late December.
Okay, because it is mid-December now. It is
Yeah.
the 15th.
Wow.
No. Okay. So here's what I'll plug. Go ahead and like my Facebook page, like my Nulph for State Rep Facebook page,
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be making some changes to it, that are not state rep related. So it doesn't matter if you live in the area or care about me running for state rep in the year of 2018. So like that page, because it will not be a Nulph for State Rep page for very much longer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Hey, my pleasure.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just say that's just insane.
That's a crazy thing. That's the craziest thing.
Like I wish. So here's the thing. I wish that I would have known that was your answer, because I would not have said that answer.
No, I wish you would have said. I wish you didn't know. That was wonderful.
Yeah. Like, because I should listen to your podcast more often. Yes, I should.
Yes, that's a real story.
Yeah, like truth. But like I should listen to your podcast more often. But I did not know what your answer was, because I was thinking. I remember driving, because I was driving to Harrisburg, and I'm like listening, and I'm like, that's a great question. But here's the thing: if my girlfriend's friends asked me that question, because you say that your girlfriend's friends asked you that question, I'm like, I don't know what my answer would be. I wonder what Nathaniel's answer was. It was probably something really funny and really creative. Like, I bet you had a great answer for that right on the spot. Like, but you didn't say it. I meant to ask you that.
Well,
No,
I
no,
say
no.
it some episodes.
Yeah.
You get to sign us off. You get to say anything you'd like. I've had people swear at me. People say inspirational things. Say whatever you'd like.
Lying is like skim milk, which is water that's lying about being milk.
What is that? Where did you take that from? What
Parks
is
and
that?
Recreation's
That's what I
the Ron Swanson.
That's what I thought. All right. Good job.
Hey, thanks.
Good job on that.